watching the American Conference on ESPN. One of the most fearsome environments in college basketball. The Houston Cougars 71-5 at the Fertitta Center in its 5 years of history. It's the greatest show on the hardwood right now for fans young and old as the Cougs take on Temple. The #1 team in the nation, also the #1 team in the American, but Temple not far behind them in a tie for second and looking to be the #1 team for the first time since 2000. Kevin Brown, John Crispin, welcome to the fearsome Fertitta Center. Houston is the #1 team in the nation again, and the scary thing for opponents, they've gotten a #1, and until recently, Marcus Sasser hadn't really looked like Marcus Sasser yet.
Yeah, look, if you follow college basketball, you understand two things. They're the #1 team in the country, and they're built on defense, the best defense in college basketball, giving up just over 53 points a game. But the ceiling ultimately comes down to their ability to score. Can they score if they get struggles a little bit on defense? Somebody can score with them. Well, you got Marcus Sasser. He's 13 of 24 over the last 2 games from 3. His ability to space the floor opens it up to the point where offense gets a little bit easier for everybody else. So greatest defense in college basketball and emerging as an offensive firepower.
Had a career-high 31. They needed every one of those 2 games ago in a hard-fought win over South Florida, then a season-high 7 threes Monday, and a nice road win against a good Tulane team. The preseason All-American starting to play like it, leading the Cougars in points and steals per game. Steven Anderson throws it. Jarace Walker wins the tip. Joe Lindsey, Ron Gruber, and Steven Anderson, the officials. And it is the Houston Cougars in command of the basketball and in command of the nation's #1 ranking. Their second stint atop the polls this season. First shot of the game missed by Tremont Mark and rebounded by J'Wan Roberts, who really took the brunt of Kelvin Sampson's shoot-around this morning. Jamal Shead misses a floater and a couple of missed shots on the opening possession for Houston. As we look at the Temple starting 5, Aaron McKie starting 5 does not include his top 2 scorers. Caleb Battle and Damian Dunn will come off the bench. This is Zach Hicks, their best 3-point shooter, and Hicks is left alone to give Temple the lead.
And that's a good sign. If you can get Hicks an open look. Now, the key was that was out of a late trap. Houston's going to trap that ball screen, and if they don't get there in time, there's going to be opportunity.
Same starting 5 for Houston every game but 1 this season. The McDonald's All-America freshman Walker, Sasser, Shead, and Mark, the terrific guards, and the much-improved scorer Roberts. Here is Jarace Walker, and Tor Jungkuch comes flying in from the weak side to swat it away. White with a touch pass to Hicks as Temple looks to push tempo. And Owls team 5-2 in the American after just a 6-7 non-conference. And there's a massive rejection by Roberts at the other end.
You know, going back to the point where Caleb Battle and Damian Dunn doesn't start the game, I think it's a challenge against Houston in particular, where Houston's a team that you want to get comfortable with, figure out, and maybe find the adjustments as you go. They're probably going to come into the game 3-4 minutes in, and it may take some time to get comfortable with this type of intensity and pace.
#1 scoring defense in the nation. Here's Hicks. Missed it well, short. Rebound to Walker for the Cougars. 9 consecutive wins for Houston. Sasser passes it up for Shead. Here's Walker for 3. And Jungkuch has played well below the rim and above it right now with a block shot and a rebound. The Temple's little-used center starting another game with Jameel Reynolds not quite back from a thumb injury. There's a moving screen, though, and Jungkuch will be called for the game's first foul.
You mentioned Roberts needing to get on the glass, and now Kelvin Sampson said, look, you've got to get on it. He's been tough on him. He called him out a number of times just to shoot around alone. All ready to start this game. It's pretty obvious. There's a concerted effort to get Roberts on the glass.
A couple of years ago, Kelvin Sampson, who's the 3-time coach of the conference, said before a game, that's J'Wan Roberts. He's going to redshirt this year. He may be the best offensive rebounder I've ever had. He's finally stepped into a bigger role this year as Sasser buries a three to put Houston on the board. Hits 7 on Monday, and he hits the first today.
Well, now 14 of 25 over the last couple games. He is just shooting with a lot of confidence to the point where he had an open two. He could have just dribbled right into it. He took that step back. Nobody's been shooting it so well.
And he picks up a steal at the other end. Sasser into three, a step back. Missed it. Jaleel White crashes for Temple.
Don't they feel different when Sasser's making shots and taking some of those quick ones in transition? If they force you into playing fast, trying to go against this defense with pace, good luck.
Dunn in battle, ready to check in at the next whistle. This is Emmanuel Okpomo in the game off the bench for John Cooch, and a great find as Okpomo connects with White.
And I was talking to you before the game, talking to Kelvin Sampson before the game, saying, if anything, maybe there's opportunity to attack their trap. If you can tap quickly out of the trap where you bring two to the basketball, you do have an advantage. Easier said than done, though.
Sasser short over White.
Right? It's like we say, hey, just attack out of the trap.
Right.
Welcome to. Yeah, welcome to. It's not that easy.
It all sounds easy until you play Houston and you feel like you're going 5 on 7 most nights. Jourdain, not a big three-point shooter. Does not connect, and Mark is there for the rebound. Shed. He's been hot of late from 3. Jamal Shed, 34 points in the last 2 games, and he hits Houston's second triple.
You know, it's one thing defensively when they make you fight for efficiency on the offensive end. Again, good luck against the defense. But when they can score quickly, that's even more of a challenge for an opponent.
Sasser stripped it away from Hicks, and a takeaway for Houston as Mark grabbed the loose ball. Walker, a cutting Roberts is fouled by Hicks. He'll shoot 2 when we return. Temple's 2 leading scorers will come in when we come back to Houston with the Cougs up early. Hidden behind a couple of gentlemen in the Temple huddle there. On the right, Damian Dunn. On the left, Caleb Battle. The Owls' 2 leading scorers. Temple may be the only team in the country that does this, brings its 2 leading scorers off the bench. They started to shake things up right around the end of a disappointing non-conference play. It's worked well in conference play. Aaron McKee has said he likes to get the juices flowing for some of his other players. Jaleel White, Nasir Miller, Nick Jourdain, and Battle and Dunn still play starters minutes. They probably won't sit much the rest of the game, but it has led Temple to a 5-2 start, even though it seems like an unusual way to go about it.
Look, whatever it is, the main thing is that you buy into it. Whether you're Battle and Dunn or everybody else, you've got to buy into the fact that these guys are going to sit the first few minutes of the game and then have to come in. Now, I think it's a challenge against some teams more so than others. I think it's a challenge against a Memphis who can really slop the game up, right? They struggled against Memphis to find any sort of rhythm offensively. It's a challenge against Houston because you want to get comfortable with what Houston does defensively. You want to get comfortable with the intensity of the game and then adjust or level up. So we'll see how they are just coming in off the bench after 4 minutes of play. Damian
Dunn back-to-back games of 22-plus points. Led Temple in their 73-58 win over ECU midweek at 22. There's a missed shot for Battle, his first opportunity. Shed races down for Houston. He's got Dunn on him. Damian Dunn preseason first-team all-conference pick. Number 1 in Temple, Cherry, and White. Walker. Top 2 for Walker, and he draws the foul. Jarace Walker will go to the free throw line.
One of the things, when I think of those 2 guys coming off the bench, the first thing I would do is attack them off the bounce in space. You've already got a rhythm to the game if you're Marcus Sasser, Jamal Shed. If you can move that basketball, get a closeout, and attack a long closeout, I think they pick up fouls. That's one of those things where you're not yet into the rhythm and flow of the game yet, so you tend to be a step behind the play.
Jaleel White with a foul there. Walker, a 71% free throw shooter, misses the first. 10th rated player in this freshman class. A lot of folks think he'll be a lottery pick. Been a good year for Houston, up and down like most freshmen are. And when you're a freshman under Kelvin Sampson, it's a very quick learning curve. But Jarace Walker's numbers have gone up of late, and his intensity has been not in question from day 1. Reggie Chaney's off the bench for Houston, their first substitute, placing Roberts. Cheney lost Okpomo as a chance for a three-point play. Yeah. Big minutes for Emmanuel Okpomo, who played 2 minutes total in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Cheney was doing. He kind of lifted up towards the elbow. He was there. I mean, no reason to get lost there. There's no ball screen. He just got lost on that play. Too easy to pass over the top, and that's something Damian Dunn can do. He's got great size and vision over the top of a defender.
Okpomo, a 6'9" sophomore, transfer from Wake Forest. It's his first free throw attempt of the season.
I mean, how many times this season have you already gone like, where'd I hear that name before? Right? That's this year. It's been all this year. You look at game notes, you watch tape, and you're like, pretty sure that guy was someplace else.
Yeah. Started his career with the Demon Deacons. A couple of years at Temple. Hasn't played much, but very good in their win at Tulsa. And some big minutes today as Jourdain replaces him. Mark, terrific individual score. Tried to sneak in between Hicks and Jourdain, and Temple's back line holds up. Inside to Jourdain. Battle, the 3rd leading scorer in the conference. It's Dunn now with Walker on him in a mismatch. Dunn tries to take him, steps inside, leans in, and Walker held his ground. Off the shot fake, Shed. Cheney! Wow. Just popped it in with a left fist.
Just a tough situation defensively. With that pump fake, you get into the paint. Defender's kind of caught in no man's land in the middle there. Shed just gets the ball up on the rim, and getting it on the rim gives your offense a chance for a stick back.
That doubles Houston's second chance points number from last game. They had 1. They hit 55%, so there weren't a ton of second chances, beating Tulsa 80-60.
But Kelvin Sampson talked about, right, it wasn't about, getting all of it. It was getting a percentage. He goes, we need to get our percentage up, meaning we need to get a higher percentage of second chance opportunities, higher percent of offensive rebounding opportunities, regardless of how many shots you make or miss. He said something they've done very well in previous years, not as well this year.
It's a foul against Shed. It's funny, you look at the numbers, and statistically that's not the case. Houston's still 4th in the country in offensive rebound rate, 39%, but they beat up on some teams earlier. They haven't been quite as strong in conference play. Battle misses a 3. Kelvin spent a good chunk of the time with us this morning talking about how rebounding has been an Achilles heel for this team of late, which you just don't hear for his teams. This 3 by Sasser, and White has the defensive board. Miller with a step. Jourdain sealed him off, and Asir Miller finishes, the sophomore from Philly.
It's funny, though, you say that. You're like, Kelvin Sampson's been an Achilles heel. Part of me wants to say, define Achilles heel, right? Like, how bad is it?
When you're 18-1 and ranked #1.
Yeah.
Terrence Arsenault in the game for the first time. Houston freshman, good score. Shed driving on Miller. Cheney went over the back. That's a foul against Reggie Cheney. A little bit of a sloppy start. Houston 3 for 13 from the field right now.
It's kind of how it goes. They have a better chance of finding it, though, because this is the way they play, right? They pick things up intensity-wise on defense. They make it hard for an opponent to find some rhythm and flow offensively, and at times it takes Houston a little while as well.
Temple is one of the better defensive teams in the American, too.
They have good length. That length is disruptive.
Second best field goal percentage in conference games, only behind Houston. Here's Battle against Sasser. 0-on-0. Battle got by him, and a late whistle for a foul against Marcus Sasser. To Kelvin Sampson's bewilderment, Ron Gruber's got a 2-shot foul. Sasser's first.
Yeah, it wasn't really egregious. It was almost like he leaned on him and missed. If you watch, he kind of gets a lean on him, but then lays off. I don't know if I'd give him that call.
86% free throw shooter Caleb Battle. That's the first. Big Monday ACC Big 12 doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN and the ESPN app. Duke and Virginia Tech kick it off, and then Kansas Baylor in the Big 12. The Jayhawks #2, but not for long. Trying to bounce back from losses to K-State and TCU. this week. Those games streaming live on the ESPN app.
What's it going to look like when Kansas comes to town here?
Gosh. This is your first time here. It's electric pregame, and that's for an okay Temple team. Another sellout. This is their 16th straight here at the Fertitta Center. Roberts out of a double. Found Arceneaux, takes his time, and missed the two.
I like Arceneaux for them. I think that's a guy that he needs to find it more. When he makes shots, he makes them better.
Dunn leans into Chaney. He is just such a smart player. Damian Dunn, he'll go to the line for two. He was 16 for 18 at the free throw line in the last game against ECU.
Isn't he a fourth-year sophomore? Is that correct? Sometimes I say it and I'm like, that can't be right. That can't be right. No, he's a fourth-year sophomore.
So is Battle.
He's been around forever.
Foul was the second on Chaney. Numbers for Dunn. Points are slightly up. He gets to the line a ton.
I mean, that's a thick beard, dude. That's a grown man's beard, right?
It's not a sophomore's beard.
It's not a sophomore's beard. Sophomore has more like a shadow, right?
Yeah.
It's like the 2-week shadow I've been working on for a while, but
I have a sophomore beard when I try to grow facial hair. Perpetually sophomore. Temple 5 for 5 at the line right now. They're shooting 80% from the free throw line in conference games, and here are the Owls up by 4 against #1 Houston.
Part of that is a guy like Damian Dunn, who makes his free throws, knows how to get to the free throw line.
Jamian Francis in the game for Houston for the first time. Francis trying to scrap for this rebound. John Cooch takes it. Temple has rebounded 11 of Houston's 13 misses. Battle steps in. Short. Rebound Francis. You just wait for Francis to do something special when he's in the game, and here he is, leading in off the window for two.
That was a good find by Marcus Sasser. Just kind of deny that ball screen, get into the paint, sit down, just wait, watch defense.
Sasser with a pair of assists. Snaps a 6-0 Temple run. Jourdain. Into Roberts. Found his way to John Cooch. What a delivery by Jourdain.
And there's been defensive breakdowns with Houston. Two guys going to the ball. A number of occasions, two guys go with the ball, and they've just dumped down over top of the defense. Talk about the length of Temple. The length is disruptive on the defensive end, but the length also allows you to throw over the top of a defense that's pressuring the basketball.
Jourdain at 6'8", able to see over and through that double. Mark is in trouble. He'll reload to Sasser. Cougars 4 for 16 to start, and Roberts called for an offensive foul as Jourdain draws the charge. What a start for Temple.
Temple doing a good job. Like I said, managing pressure, handling that pressure, passing over the top, just being patient, sitting down, finding the open man. Not sure why two's coming to the basketball, but Temple off to a good start.
The main attraction. Statement games can make or break championship resumes.
This is not a final exam. This is a midterm.
It's a top 10 showdown and a clash of old school blue bloods. Experience the SEC Big 12 Challenge doubleheader Saturday on ESPN.
One heck of a Sonic blockbuster coming up on Saturday. Texas, Tennessee, a pretty appetizing game before Kansas, Kentucky. Here in Houston, we've had 13 different players combined for 28 points. Weird game so far. Nobody's scored more than 3 individually. And you said during the break to me, it feels like the game hasn't started for Houston yet.
You know, it's more as we haven't really settled into the game yet. Houston hasn't really figured out how to be effective yet in this game, and they will. That's what they do. There are times when the start is slow, they don't make enough shots, and defensively not able to create enough pressure, but they find their adjustments and they level up, they figure it out. This one hasn't really gotten underway yet.
The foul was on Tremont Mark, but Kelvin Sampson, after taking Marcus Sasser out of the game at the break, immediately yanked him back in for Terrence Arceneaux. It is actually on Arceneaux, beg your pardon. So 9 seconds after Sasser sits, Kelvin Sampson takes out the freshman, brings in the senior. It's the 17th foul, 1-1 for Damian Dunn. 86% free throw shooter. And this is where Temple has won games this season. Not a great offensive team, not a great shooting team. On the whole, 77% free throw shooters. In conference games, 80%.
Well, I would say coming into this season with Caleb Battle, Damian Dunn, you start to look at some of the other pieces. Jaleel White as a defender. I would have said Temple should be that, second, third team in the AAC, but the inconsistency, the loss to Wagner to start the season, and just the ups and downs, it almost takes them out, but it doesn't surprise you that they can play with Houston, at least for the time being.
5-2 tied for second in the conference coming into today. Here's Shed in the lane, left it short, rebounded Jourdain. He'll bounce for Dunn. Sasser's in there to knock the ball away, and it was only dislodged as far as Jaleel White. It's a 10-2 Temple run right now. Dunn trying to find Jourdain. There was too much traffic. Roberts with the takeaway. A lot of stagnant offense for Houston in the first 10.5 minutes.
Well, and Jourdain's just been able to kind of stay in the middle of this defense.
It's a hot shot pass by Shed. Walker faced up well by John Cooch. Missed along 2. Roberts gets in there for the tip, and here comes Shed. There goes Mark, and he is fouled.
I mean, frankly, outside of the offensive rebound on a long shot, Temple's okay with that possession. If you force a tough shot from Walker, you're okay with it. You've been rebounding the basketball pretty well, so I think all things good for Temple so far. And as you mentioned, a little stagnant on the offensive end for Houston. Ball's got to move east to west. They've got to attack downhill. Haven't been able to do it too much.
Tramon Marks had a really nice season, and above all else, he's been healthy. He started all 20 games this year. This is the free throw. They're 76% foul shooter. Houston is 2 for 5 at the line.
I think partially too, Temple's been able to stay at home. They're not over helping. They're not rotating two to the basketball. They're just contesting shots, closing out hard, but the closeouts haven't been long closeouts. They've just been good closeouts.
Mark 1 for 2. Hicks and Miller replace Dunn and Jourdain for the Owls.
Keep John Cooch on that play. He closes out to Walker. He takes the shot away and then gaps to the point where he takes the drive away too. Then forces a tough shot. All good things for Temple so far.
John Cooch and Okpomo have given him good minutes. They're hoping they'll get Jameel Reynolds back Wednesday. Into battle. It was a great find by Hicks. And a loose ball snatched away by Sasser. Marcus Sasser with a 1 3-point basket to open a scoring. Founds himself in a trap. Mark. Here comes Sasser. Down the lane. Out for Shed. A corner 3 is good. His second.
And it was the second driving kick that broke down the defense, right? It's the second driving kick that brought that rotating defense over. Allowed Sasser to find Shed wide open in the corner.
This is what it tends to sound like at the Fertitta Center. It's taken a little while to get there. Miller on the drive. Roberts got in there to knock it away. Out of bounds, Cougar ball.
See what this does to wake Houston up a little bit. A good offensive possession and a good defensive possession. And I don't know about you, I tend to think this place gets up more for good defense and good blocks than they do on the offensive end.
This is your first time here, but you've been watching the games on TV well.
Well, the other thing is they know their team, right?
That's
they
their
understand
identity.
the identity of this team, and when it's like when Zach Edey gets a post touch and a dunk, they go nuts. Why is that? Because that's what they're all about.
Sasser draws the foul against Dunn. Tricky little play by Marcus Sasser. Steven Anderson, Ron Gruber, Joe Lindsay get together to decide if this was in the act of shooting or not. We're waiting for an official call on that. And let's see.
I know
it's going to be a non-shooting foul.
I know they've done that rule where it's like if you're swiping it around, they're saying it's not a shot, but like I used to do that into a shot, right? Somebody holds their hand out, you kind of pull the ball around and up. I never understood why they're taking that away. It's a smart play.
First foul on Dunn. No free throws for Houston.
I don't understand a lot of things, but that's one of them.
At least you're honest enough. None of us understand that many things. Mark's got Hicks on him. Step back. And a long rebound batted around by Dunn. Nearly ended up out of bounds after Hicks' deflection. Temple has held its own on the glass right now. Very good rebounding team, especially in conference play. Miller out of trouble to Hicks. His second three.
All that comes back to welcoming that trap. They played quickly out of the trap, moved the ball quickly, and then played against a scrambling defense. Were able to get baseline drive, baseline drift, open three for one of their best three-point shooters. That's good stuff. But you have to risk the trap. You have to play into the trap to get that look.
Roberts found himself alone, able to get to the left-handed score.
Like I said, when I was breaking down tape, I said, how would I attack Houston? Well, I said, well, the craziest thing is I would have to bring traps. That's how I can create an advantage. And Temple's been really good playing out of it, so long as you move it quickly.
They've assisted on 5 of their 6 field goals. Dunn can't connect on a 3, and Roberts was pushed by Okpomo after a one-handed rebound where his arms seemed to extend on the way down. Roberts fouled. Houston ball down by 3 early. Texas.
Temple sitting on a 3-point lead, and one of the challenges against Houston is playing against this pressure. Well, the key is attack their pressure. Attack the trap, bring 2 to the basketball, move the basketball quickly, and you end up with good shots. Multiple occasions throughout the course of this game, Temple has welcomed 2 to the basketball, made the right decisions, couple extra passes, and gotten good looks. You may not always score. They're only shooting 37+% from the field, but they've gotten good scoring opportunities. When they got good opportunities, they've made shots.
5 assists on their 6 made field goals. They've drawn 7 fouls. Trying to beat a #1 team for the first time in 23 years since Mark Karcher scored 28 in a 77-69 win over Cincinnati.
When was that?
Kenyon Martin Cincinnati team. If you looked at the graphic, you would have seen February 23rd, 2000. But I can repeat it for you.
I'm locked in. He said Dusty Baker standing up. Leave me alone.
Dusty is a couple of steps to our right. Shed misses a 3. World Series winning manager of the Astros, Kelvin Sampson, told us at shoot-around today. Dusty called him yesterday and said, hey, I want to go to one of your games. Kelvin said, okay, we'll play tomorrow. So Dusty's here.
All right, here we are. There it is.
Jourdain, can they beat it again? He'll try to take it into Sasser with a size. Got to look. Walker grabs it.
I don't care that he missed that shot. That's how you play against it. You welcome the 2. You make yourself an available receiver, and good things happen. So Temple, yet again, beat the pressure and got a decent look.
Sasser, lazy pass, knocked away by Miller. Kelvin Sampson screaming at his preseason All-American guard. Only the 2nd Houston turnover. Dunn over Roberts. Dunn bags a 3. Damian Dunn with 7. Temple its largest lead of 6. They have led almost the whole game. Here's Dunn guarding Mark. Slithers by him and got to his favored left hand.
And Dunn just stood up slightly. You know, defensively, the second you stand up, you're beaten. And Tramon Mark is really good about staying low on the drive and just getting it, just turning the corner, getting where he needs to get.
There's Miller. Feeds Dunn. Hit one from this spot, a possession ago. Miller with a shot fake, steps into a 2. Another rebound for Jarace Walker, his 4th. Sheds hit 2 from out there. Walker's there. Won the battle with Hicks for an offensive rebound. Houston's 4th. Sasser. Good night.
I will say a lot of Houston's points, though, are coming off of individual playmaking. And that's a concern, whereas Temple's actually moving the basketball, as I said, welcoming the 2 with a double team and been playing out of it.
Battle 0 for 4 for the field. Battle stripped, knocked off his knee. It will go the other way.
Houston is physical on the basketball. You have to be strong on the drive. Some of the guys I've seen handle that drive the best against the Houston defense, they almost cup it. Like a running back going through the line. You protect that basketball, and then at the last second, get it up at the rim. You've got to be tough of mind and strong with the ball against Houston for 40 minutes.
Manuel Sharp's in the game for the first time for Houston. Freshman, very good shooter. Mark. Got around Hicks. Elbow jumper. And that's last touch by Hicks. Temple, according to Joe Lindsay. Aaron McKie is furious. And Houston will have possession in a one-point game when we return.
Cat Fonson, coach, the Jeep halftime report is on the way. Coming up, we'll run through it to give Houston a challenge in the NCAA tournament. Like, I guess, Temple.
Well, John Christmas has been saying it over and over again. I think Temple's doing a great job of inviting that press, hitting the short roll guy, and finding opportunities on the weak side. So they've handled it really well.
The defense puts 2 on the ball. Right? It's the second pass to get you a good shot. Temple's done a good job with that. A little bit of that Aaron McKie NBA experience playing against all those different ball screen coverages.
Kevin, John.
Gentlemen, we will see you at the half shortly. As a reminder, if you're an American fan that doesn't have ESPN Plus, you need to. Some big games for Houston coming up on ESPN Plus, including the showdown at UCF Wednesday. Knight's team that took Houston to the wire at home in the conference home opener. Plus Temple against South Florida on Wednesday. Houston, Tulsa, February the 8th. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/AAC.
Very nice to have Fonz in studio there to actually point out something I got right. I'm not sure I've ever heard that from Coach Greenberg. He usually just points out all the things I miss. He's my quality control. God love him.
You want to take that up together at the break? Or I'll stay out of your way.
I'm sure he'll have something for me.
Houston's last lead was 10-8 until now. Sasser, who has 4 of Houston's 5 assists, distributing to Walker.
Well, Sasser's the only one that's able to draw 2. They're not leaving anyone else. They're just contesting tough shots. But Marcus Sasser, when he puts the ball on the floor, has been effective.
That'll look like he had a look for 3 there and passed it up. You don't get many of those against Houston, but he gets another, and this one he hits.
And I love off-the-dribble jump shooters. In the game today, the way defense flies around, you've got to be able to put it on the deck. You've got to be able to play off the bounce. And if you can make jump shots off the bounce, you are a tough team to figure out. Especially the way defenses have to scramble. That's a long scramble if you can make jump shots off the bounce.
Here's Sharp with a good look. Sharp buries it. Their best three-point shooter at 40.4%. Drains his first attempt.
I think if I'm Houston, I've got to put Marcus Sasser in more ball screen situations because he is able. He's one of the only guys on the floor who's been able to draw 2.
Out of a double done, extra pass gets it to Battle. Another good look, and a rebound to Roberts. Some better offensive execution for Temple. Some of the shots just not going down. They're 8 for 21, despite some good looks. Sasser around Jourdain. Now it's Walker on Dunn. Got a ton of size on him. Roberts and White battling for the rebound. And we'll have a foul against Jaleel White of Temple.
But it's like what Fonz was talking about. We're not just making this stuff up. A lot of times I do just say things, which Coach does call me out on. Sometimes he gets me on some of the crazy things I make up, but the reality is they're welcoming 2, and it gives you the advantage. The whole idea with offense and action is to create an advantage and then attack with that advantage. They're able to do it with that double team so long as you manage the pressure well and move it quickly.
1-and-1, Roberts misses. 3 for 7 start at the line for Houston. Temple is 7 for 7. 1-point game under 2 to go. Nation's #1 trying to win its 10th straight. Temple trying to beat #1 for the first time since 2000. There's the double team against Jourdain. He finds his way out of it somehow and set up Hicks for a brilliant look that wouldn't go. Sharp again. He was on the end line. That's a turnover. Impressed with some of the looks Jourdain has been able to find. Even if that shot didn't go in, you would never say set up the ball in the corner against a double team, but he got it out of there.
You have to know, and what's happening is throughout the first half of this game, they're getting more and more comfortable with that pressure. And it's not that you're comfortable with the pressure, you're comfortable with what you're getting out of that pressure. So that allows you to manage it a little bit better.
Dunn set up by Hicks, missed a three.
Like if you know with this double team, someone else is going to be open, I just have to have the patience and presence of mind to find them, then you don't panic as much. And that's how you prepare for this game. You know what you're going to face. You just got to settle in and deal.
Roberts finds a cutting Shed. Eight for Shed in the first half. Matches the largest Houston lead. Dunn with space. Dunn with his second three. And a 10-point first half.
You just see Sharp. It hasn't played as much, so the communication's not there. So when the communication's not there, breakdowns occur, and guys like Damian Dunn get wide open looks.
Kelvin Sampson takes the 32nd timeout in a 30-30 game. Houston Cougars have led at halftime all 19 games this season. The last time Houston did not lead at the half was in the Elite Eight a season ago in a loss to another Philly team, Villanova. Damian Dunn and Temple have hung around here, led for most of the first half, defended well, and they've matched Houston's toughness so far, which not a lot of teams have done.
Here's the thing that jumps out to me, though, is Temple's comfortable with what Houston's doing defensively that makes them great. They're comfortable with that double. They're comfortable with the trap. They're comfortable with the pressure because they're attacking that pressure and then getting good things from that pressure. Temple's got more open looks than anybody else I've seen Houston play this season. They just haven't made enough. So I would say they come out with confidence unless Houston's able to kind of level up a bit.
About a 0.3 of a second different shot in game clock. Shed at the controls for Houston. Battle on him. Into Walker with a seam. Walker shoves it off the rim. Rebound, batted around. Sharp comes out of it, and Shed couldn't get it off in time. So the first time this season, Houston does not lead at the half. It took until game number 20. And a game Temple team is in a 30-30 tie against the nation's #1. Time for the Jeep Halftime Report with Seth and Fonz. Here's Kev.
Kevin.
There's only one.
There's only one big Monday, and it's a big-time matchup of ACC teams colliding. Duke and Virginia Tech, 7 Eastern. And then Kansas and Big.
Cougars are trying to do what their crosstown brothers, the Astros, did. Bring a championship to Houston. Orbit's in the house. Dusty Baker, who won the World Series as manager. Ryan Presley, who closed it out as the Astros were the World Series champs. Right now, the Houston Cougars in a 30-30 tie with Temple. Kevin Brown, John Crispin back with you. It's the first time all season Houston has not led at the half. How's Temple done it?
Look, it's a lot to ask your guys to welcome pressure the way Temple has, but that's how they've done it. They've welcomed pressure. They've played out of it. Confidence is now going to be at an all-time high. Fearlessness at an all-time high. If you can welcome pressure, play out of it, get good things, you're certainly going to have a lot of confidence coming out of the second half. They've gotten great looks, and the thing is, they're 5 of 12 from the three-point line. In terms of Temple, Temple's gotten a lot of good looks. So if they shoot it well, if they make more shots, now the thing is, they've gotten really good looks. If you keep getting good looks, find more confidence, make some of those looks, Temple could win this basketball game.
Damian Dunn leading the way with 10. Zach Hicks has a couple of threes. Both teams shooting better from 3 than from 2 in the first half. And after 20 minutes down, it is 30-30. And a Houston foul begins the half. Juwan Roberts picks up his second.
I think the threes have been less contested than the twos. 2-point shots against the length of Temple and the physicality of Houston. None are going to come easy. So they've gotten good looks from 3.
Houston was 5 of 10 from out there. 6 of 21 from 2. Marcus Sasser, 6 points, 4 assists. Jamal Shed led the Cougars with 8. Here's Jourdain, who did not score, but had a good first half. He turns it over here. Shed got a hand to it. Mark finds Sasser in transition. Around Hicks, and the reverse layup won't go, but a foul.
And I also think Houston figured something out there late in the first half, which is Marcus Sasser's the only guy that's really drawing 2 defenders when you get by your initial defender. Temple did a good job of not over-helping, not committing too many to the basketball, so kickouts just weren't there, dump downs weren't there, so there was no easy shot. Everything was contested, but when Marcus Sasser had the ball and was able to create, good things happen.
Second foul on Jourdain. Sasser leaves it short. Houston now 3 for 8. Wow. Pretty good free throw shooting team usually. Sasser's 82%, and he rolls in the second. Donovan Battle on the bench to start the second half. Temple brings those 2 off the bench with Miller and White, the starting guards. There's Jourdain facing up Roberts, spins. Miller passes up a 3, as does White, and Shed deflected it into the Temple bench with 3 to shoot.
See, this is the problem. When you have Battle and Dunn on the bench, you can't get back to what you were thriving with in the first half, which was bringing those 2 defenders and then having shooters and playmakers out of the second pass.
Was Jourdain right before the shot clock buzzer. Mark boxes out White for the rebound.
I almost feel like I don't care what you do to start the game, but at this point, you need your best players on the floor.
No, I wonder how long it's going to be for Aaron McKie.
Because this group, based on what they were able to do to get good shots, it was Battle and Dunn that had to be on the floor.
Shed strip, and Shed fouled. Poor John Coach tacked with a reach in his second. Houston team playing its 32nd game in school history. It's the #1 team. They're 27-4. 4th week this season with the #1 ranking. They had it early. They've had it the last couple of weeks as well. Roberts with a double team there. He travels. Jawan Roberts has turned it over twice.
The length has been disruptive. Temple's length has really been disruptive. They haven't forced turnovers, but they forced discomfort. And discomfort makes you do dumb things.
Still a pretty young team, Temple, one of the least experienced in the game last year. But a full year under their belt of conference play, an athletic team searching for consistency. This has been a big step so far. Miller. Isaiah Miller mauled by Shed and Mark. Sophomore from the prestigious Newman Goretti High School will shoot a couple of free throws. The foul is Shed's second. Super Tuesday, Big Ten ACC doubleheader starts in Champaign. Ohio State and Illinois at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Followed by North Carolina go to the Dome to take on Syracuse at 9. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app. Get to see a terrific freshman in that first game, Bryce Sensabaugh, who had 27 yesterday. Ohio State scored 93 in a win over Iowa.
Sensabaugh needs to be good for Ohio State to win. He's got a mid-range game, which so many young freshmen don't have anymore. It's either threes, layups, or dunks. He's got a mid-range game, which is a challenge to figure out. He's also got a body of a 40-year-old.
It's 10 for 12 yesterday. Buckeyes snapped a 5-game losing streak.
And not a 40-year-old like myself, more like a fit 40-year-old.
Sure. Walker spinning. Battle and Dunn ready to check in at the next whistle for Aaron McKie. Without them, Temple has outscored Houston 2-1 to start the half. White, good step, and then the block from behind came from Mark. White snatched it back, and Hicks makes him pay with a 3.
Hicks is really good when he gets his feet set in rhythm. He's got good balance, good stability on the shot, and I like how he's seeking it out with confidence.
Sasser couldn't do enough to take Jourdain there. Jourdain stays on him in the corner. Mark will drive it wildly to Roberts. 1 point the first 3 minutes or so of the half for Houston. Mark Just 1 for 6 in the game, trying desperately to get something going, and he draws a foul.
I just don't see it offensively for Houston. I don't see it. I don't see good action. I don't see good spacing. It's just kind of move it, and whoever gets it and wants to attack, attacks. And if you want to be the best team in the country, there needs to be more than that. And I think good things happen when you get Sasser involved in action, maybe some ball screens, drive, draw 2, kick out, then play out of that. But it's been a lot of one-on-one. And missed free throws.
That look by Mark, his hands thrown to the Fertitta center ceiling, about says it all. They're 4 for 10. They're your first halves for Battle and Dunn. Battle didn't shoot it very well. Dunn did, and got to the free throw line where it was 4 for 4.
The thing is, though, you create a rhythm with your action and movement. So when you move bodies, you move the basketball, there's a rhythm to the game. That hasn't been there. It's not been there offensively for Houston, and I think that's why you see poor shooting.
White into Mark. White, tough take by Jaleel White, the redshirt sophomore. Foul is the second on Mark, and White will shoot free throws.
And White's not a guy who's going to look to shoot that pull-up jump shot or even shoot the 3. So you've got to be able to gap, stay hands wide, and then get hands high without jumping or fouling.
Owls are now 10 for 10 at the free throw line. Houston 5 for 11. Emmanuel Okpomo will replace Jourdain. Jaleel White missed his freshman year with a torn meniscus in his left knee. A good season last year. Goes 1 for 2, 6'7" guard.
So Dunn, Battle, and Hicks on the floor at the same time. You got 3 guys who can space it.
Sasser feeds Shed. Good look. Good hit.
And it's been Marcus Sasser with the basketball in his hands. And I know Jamal Shed's more the point guard. Sasser's been playing off the ball, but when Sasser's the one that can bring 2 defenders, you've got to play through him more.
He has 5 assists. His teammates combined for 3. Battle got a look. Left it short. Hicks flying in. And a foul on the rebound action. It will go against Houston.
Jamal Shed averages over 5 assists a game, but just look, the game will give you opportunities, and Marcus Sasser's been really good. There are 3 guys with Marcus Sasser as he turns that corner. He turns the corner, it's an easy kick out to Jamal Shed. Let Sasser be the playmaker until the defense adjusts. When the defense adjusts, then you counter their adjustment.
Jawan Roberts with a foul leaves the game, and a timeout taken by Temple, which couldn't get the ball in. This will serve as our under-16 media timeout. Owls in front by 1 early in the second half against number 1.
I feel like I bring, a lot of leadership qualities to the team, experience, showing by example, really, trying to be the first guy on the court, last guy off the court. God gave me a talent, I feel like I want to just try to use it to the best of my ability and, take advantage of it the best I can, really.
Marcus Sasser on our Wendy's Wood Watch, preseason first-team All-American. Kelvin Sampson said until recently he felt like Marcus was trying to prove preseason prognostications, playing for the wrong reasons. So the best stretch of his season offensively in the last 2, 31 and 23. Today more of a distributor with 5 assists. Here's Hicks. Rebound to Tremont Mark. The last 2 fouls, by the way, were against Roberts. Looked like a prior foul was on Mark, but it was called on Roberts, so he is out of the game with 4. And Mark still in there, leans in and misses. Walker cleans it up. Shed misses as well. Houston 12 for 35 from the field.
You talk about Sasser leadership qualities. Leadership qualities are doing whatever the heck you need to do for your team to win. And right now it's been sharing the basketball, being more of a creator than a scorer. Now, the more you create, the more easy looks you're going to get yourself.
Well, Walker just looked off Dunn to give him space. And Kelvin Sampson's look could shoot through Jarace Walker's 6'8", 240-pound body. 13 for Dunn and a 4-point Temple lead. Some of these player front-end videos we have now, players have the lasers, the white red eye lasers. That looked like Kelvin's face right there. He's ready to shoot lasers out of his eyes. 4 to shoot, Chet. Sasser fighting hard. He got around Battle. Marcus Sasser doing it all himself.
You know, Battle, the shot went up, and Battle turned into a kind of an offensive tackle in football. He was pass blocking. Marcus Sasser was able to read exactly where that ball was coming off and when, creating second chance opportunities. Like I said, leadership, do whatever it takes to win.
You'll love this. It's like a heavyweight fight.
Taurasi for 3.
Watch out! 2 premier programs in the women's game.
The rivalry that elevated women's hoops to the national stage. Connecticut and Tennessee, Thursday night, 8 Eastern, with a special college game day from Thompson Bowling Arena. 26 meeting between the Huskies and Vols, who met 4 times for the title. Marcus Sasser makes a 3-point play. It is a 1-point Temple lead. 14:43 to go at the Fertitta Center. Kevin Brown, John Crispin with you. Temple looking for its 3rd win in 23 all-time meetings against a #1 team, and first in 23 years. Damian Dunn has led the Owls in scoring today and the last 2 games. Facing up Shed, Dunn misses a 3. It's grabbed by Jarace Walker, the Houston freshman.
The next couple minutes are big. The next couple minutes you should start to find out who's going to take control of this game, who's going to settle in.
Shed just 4 for 13 now as Houston continues to struggle from inside the arc. Foul before the shot. That'll go against Sasser, his 2nd.
I still think Sasser has to be touching the ball almost every single possession. Clearly, the game plan defensively for Temple is to take him out of it. He came in shooting, what was he, 13 of 24 from 3? You're telling me that everything in terms of a scout isn't centered around Marcus Sasser and his ability to just completely dominate a game by knocking down 3s. Recency is a bias. Everybody has it. So I would involve him in as much as possible, but more of as a playmaker. That's when they've gotten good things offensively.
Guards the ball to Miller right now. Dunn slipping the double to Jourdain. Extra feed, Battle. Miller would have been a big one.
Again, Temple's gotten good looks. They just haven't made a lot of open shots. Clappable misses. It's one of my favorite terms.
Sasser put Miller into the meat grinder, and Houston reclaims the lead.
Just keep going back to Sasser. If you can create space on the floor, 2 guys will come to Marcus Sasser. Not anybody else on the floor drawing 2.
He has a dozen to lead Houston. Jourdain around Walker. Punches it home for his first basket.
I love watching coaches after plays that they're upset about, right? And Walker's actually looking at the bench, wondering if he's going to get subbed.
He's had a couple of defensive slips here in this half. Shed somehow got it to Cheney. And a foul by Miller will put Reggie Cheney at the line.
All right, so the slips there on that ball screen where Temple actually gave Houston a little of their own medicine, right? Coming up, trapping that ball screen hard. Shed barely got that pass through, but Emmanuel Sharp was wide open in the corner. So look, next time you see that, look at the slip. They're going to take that slip away. Sharp's going to be open in the corner.
Reggie Cheney 6 for 16 at the line this season. Houston is 6 for 13 today.
That is amazing.
They're 6 for 13 from 3. They are 6 of 13 from free, and now 6 of 14.
Did you say from 3?
From 3, I did.
You're good. You're cute when you're nerdy, Kevin.
Thank you. Only when I'm nerdy, though.
Only when you're nerdy.
Miller feeds Jourdain. Sharp steps up. Sharp hits the deck. It's a blocking foul on Emmanuel Sharp. That's 6 on Houston.
It's probably the right call. I actually like this call. Like, he kind of leaned into him, and then it was the trip as he's falling back. I know fans don't like it. Probably a play on if he doesn't trip. Why'd attack this? I wouldn't even bring that ball screen. I would attack. Walker has not been good defensively. You got Damian Dunn on him. I don't know why you bring a ball screen and bring a switch.
And Dunn on Chaney by the end of it, too. Here he is again. Dunn on Reggie Chaney. Trying to draw the foul. It's a shot clock violation.
But Reggie Chaney hasn't played as many minutes and hasn't made as many defensive mistakes as Walker has. So, again, the field should tell you, if you're Damian Dunn, wave that ball screen off. Say, I'm attacking this guy. He's going to stand up. He's been playing tired. I'm going to attack him, and if I'm Damian Dunn, I'm probably going to get to the free throw line. That's what he does.
Battle returns for Hicks after Temple's 7th turnover.
It's like ball screens have become this default. And if you just stop and look for 2 seconds, you realize, wait, I already have an advantage. Why am I going to bring a ball screen, then get switched up on, and then no longer have the advantage?
Shed weaving in. Walker, good close by Jaleel White. Walker will try to post him. White lets him go baseline, and Walker floats it on the rim. No. Chaney playing one-man volleyball, and Walker step back, puts Houston back on top.
Walker gets credit for it. Reggie Chaney did all the work. Reggie Chaney kept that thing alive, and that's what he does.
They call him Old Man River, Reggie Chaney. 151st career game.
It's a little extreme. Old Man River.
Battle into Sasser, lost it. No foul. Careful now if you're Battle. Sasser missed what would have lit up this arena. And we'll get a Houston foul to send Temple to the line after the next media timeout. Little more interesting than we might have imagined. 20-point favorite, Houston up by 1.
Marcus Sasser, yes, he is the leader of this team. He's the best scorer on this team. Came in making 13 of his 24 threes over the last 2. But for them to win this game, to overcome Temple, which has played very well this game, he's got to be the assist guy. He's got to be the playmaker. He's got to be the facilitator. Maybe not the initiator, but at least the guy that brings 2 his way, finds open players. That's what has allowed Houston to stay in this game. Otherwise, if it's not for Sasser sharing the basketball, Temple's up 10 points.
Sasser's got 12 points, 5 assists. Houston only has 8 assists as a team. Preseason All-American who was on an offensive tear coming in. Trying to carry Houston to a 10th straight win. It's in some peril here. Damian Dunn now 5 for 5 at the free throw line today. He has a game-high 14. Good week against ECU. He was 16 of 18. Tied the 4th most free throw makes in a game in Temple history.
Well, and you think, too, he must be incredibly quick to be able to get to the free throw line this much. The reality is he plays very slowly. He slows it down. His head fakes, his ball fakes, his pump fakes are all slow, and everybody falls for it.
It's going to take a breather here. We'll see for how long. With Temple leading by a point at the Fertitta Center, and Sasser just gave it away.
Well, that was Hicks. Hicks read that roll. Francis rolled and was going to be wide open on the block, but Hicks came over and took that away, and Sasser didn't see him until he got up in the air. That's good stuff. Look, we've seen a much better Temple team. Watch Hicks slides there. You can't see him in the play, but Hicks slid all the way over and took that away.
Into White against Javier Francis. White turned it right back. Hard to post up a guy with a 7'5" wingspan.
But it's just not what Jaleel White does. You know, he's a great defender. He's a good playmaker when he's playing off the ball, but not off the bounce. And that's where you wonder how long does Damian Dunn stay on the bench, because you have other guys handling the ball when it probably shouldn't be.
Walker against Jakush. Walker spins around him, and a soft touch to lay it in. The flashes you see from Jarace Walker are just deadly. The consistency not there yet for the freshman. Good close by Sharp on Hicks. Trying to back him down. Double team is there with Francis. White poked away by Walker. Sasser went careening into the legs of Miller. Marcus Sasser picks up his third foul. And a 1-and-1 for Asir Miller. Kelvin Sampson's just been teed up.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And he better be careful not to get a second. He's storming across midcourt right now.
It's a tough one because it is a loose ball. But Sasser did dive into the legs of a player who was getting possession of it. So it's just a tough one.
Quantus White had to jump in front of Kelvin Sampson, who looked like he was ready to bowl over this officiating crew by himself. So the third foul on Sasser. Battle will shoot for the technical. And he'll get one more. Houston fans are voicing their great pleasure with this crew. Even Shasta's shaking his head. Come on, Shasta. Set a good example.
Sorry, I was looking at like a 10-year-old who was gesturing to the officials in a way that maybe parents might want to get a hold of him.
So now
got lost there for a little bit. My bad.
It's okay. And Miller hits the front end. Temple is 15 for 16 at the free throw line.
Now the question is, where are you going offensively right now? Sasser's not in the game. If Houston goes back to just kind of ISO ball, you've got to have good spacing, and the ISO ball has to get to a point where you're driving and kicking, then playing out of that kick.
It's a 4-point possession for Temple. The technical free throws by Battle. The regular free throws by Miller. The Owls have the lead midway through the second half. We're now not a fan of the zoo behind us. Walker, no. But a good game for Jourdain, who has played the most minutes, 25 of anybody in a cherry and white top. Hicks. Battle, bouncing for John Cooch. No, he missed the dunk.
Oh, Walker really just deterred that thing. Big time defensive play.
Great contest on one end, and then Walker to the foul line at the other. Jourdain with his third foul, and Walker will try to give Houston a couple of free throws.
This was a great play by Temple on the slip. Good bounce pass by Battle. And John Cooch probably just thought he was going to be more open, but Walker came and took it away.
The moments when he does something spectacular makes you realize why this team's ceiling can be a little different.
And look, I think the way they play, it's hard to be consistent as a freshman. A lot is asked of you the way Houston plays in terms of the way their intensity defensively, the way he's going to come up and take a ball screen and completely blow it up with the trap. I mean, a lot is asked of you. So I think it is a challenge for young freshmen to play consistently well. But at the end of the season, they're 10 times better than they were coming in.
Walker 1 for 2. They still can't get a pair. He has the last 5 points for Houston. Dunn has returned to the floor for Temple. 16 straight for Tita Center. Sellout crowd to its feet. Battle charges into Marks. Somehow got it to Miller. And then Battle took it away from Hicks. Missed a 3. Here's Shed. I'm not really sure what Shed was trying to do there. Like he had a step on John Cooch and just threw it away. Hicks off a tight closeout, lays it short. Another rebound, Walker.
Need a good possession here. Frankly, the game needs a good possession here. I need a good possession.
Dangerously close to the unplug and plug it back in mode.
Reboot.
Shed around Miller, bumped, and free throws coming again. That'll be the second on Miller. Jamal Shed will shoot 2.
It's just been a challenge offensively. Just nothing there. A lot of ISO ball, clear out, drive, and make a play.
Hey, tomorrow night it's an ACC Big 12 doubleheader. Duke off a nice win over Miami yesterday goes to Virginia Tech at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then number 2 Kansas against 21st ranked Baylor at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app. She had 15 for 22 at the free throw line this year. And he hits the first. Marcus Sasser's ready to return. It appears he's going to come in for Shed if there's a make here. Can Houston make both free throws? They sure can. Shed will leave the game with a gift, taking 2 to tie.
This is an interesting lineup offensively for Houston. If Shed's going to, or excuse me, if Sasser's going to be the guy with the ball in his hands, you've got Sharp spacing, Tremont Mark spacing, Francis and Walker going to be attacking the glass.
Temple's got White and Jourdain back on the floor. White driving, Walker lost it. Loose ball to Houston.
And if I'm Temple, no offense to Jaleel White, he's not the guy I want to have the ball in his hands making a play. You've got Damian Dunn and Caleb Battle. Why they're not involved with Zach Hicks spacing? Great question.
No field goals the last 5+ minutes for Temple on one end. Sharp at the other end. In and out.
It's a good look.
Dunn slips it inside. Jourdain with a dribble. Jourdain with a finish. And a foul will send Jourdain to the line with Temple back on top.
Temple has done wonders just bringing to the basketball, slipping screens. Temple's really figured out how to manage this pressure. And Damian Dunn, Caleb Battle have been a big part of it.
12 lead changes, 8 ties, but Temple has had a whole lot of answers. The Owls have led most of the way. They have dominated the game at the free throw line, +7 there, despite 1 fewer attempt than Houston. With 7:47 to go, the Temple Owls are in search of their 3rd win ever against an AP #1 ranked team and their first in 23 seasons. They're a 20-point underdog coming into this game. A building where Houston has gone 71-5.
Bottom line, Temple's been able to create better scoring opportunities. They haven't even made a lot of open looks that they've gotten. Talked about clappable misses. They've had a lot of them.
3-point play completed for Nick Jourdain. Here's Walker into Jourdain. Couldn't finish. Walker just 3 for 12.
A lot of floaters, and something Kelvin Sampson talked to us about was getting offensive rebounds. They have not been able to get active on the offensive glass, and floaters are those shots that you want to be on offensive rebound.
Here's Hicks with a good look. Hicks strokes a 3. Temple leads by 6.
Houston's turning the heat up a little bit defensively, but they're also chasing the ball even more. So you have to turn up the heat, but do so with discipline.
The freshman Sharp. Shed and Roberts ready to check back in as Walker draws Hicks' 3rd foul and picks up 2 more free throw attempts.
Again, I commend Temple and their defense for not overhelping. When you overhelp, you get beaten. It makes it look like someone's running great offense, but Houston offensively hasn't been there. There hasn't been any action that they've been able to build on to the point where you're building with confidence as well and getting shots that you know you can make. And free throws, good Lord.
These are not in and out misses either. These are
they're just
4 misses.
They're like must be a door open misses.
Walker for a second.
I also, again, it comes back to, are you creating rhythm that you can build on? Are you creating shots that you feel good about? When you create rhythm and shots you feel good about, you make a higher percentage of things like free throws.
Walker, Sharp, Francis all out. Shed, Robertson, Chaney all in. It's the all-man team for Kelvin right now. Down by 5, under 7 to go.
Well, at this point, you've got to go with what you trust.
Into Jourdain. He's fouled on the catch. And that's going to be 2 free throws for Jourdain with Temple in the double bonus. Reggie Chaney was in on the play, but it's Mark with his second foul.
Look, we talked about it at shoot-around today for Houston. I said, if you can welcome 2 to the basketball, meaning bring 2 defenders your way with these traps, you have an advantage so long as you can pass out of it. Temple has been able to pass out of it. They've had the advantage on the offensive end. Really, they've had the advantage in this game.
We've watched a lot of Houston basketball the last few years. This is up there with the best game plans against Houston we've seen, with the way that a team has attacked Houston as well as anybody.
But it's simple, but it's risky. I think in your mind you go, wait, I don't want to play to a double team. But if you had a big, you would do the same thing. You would welcome a double team because that's your advantage. You play out of the advantage, and now you're playing 4-on-3. I like those odds.
Sasser trying to shake Jourdain, and Sasser runs him over. Offensive foul, Sasser's 4th.
Temple just doing a good job of staying home. The other thing is, why is Temple able to stay home? They're able to stay home because there's no movement. There's no action that's taking defense away from the paint. So it's almost as if Temple's playing old school shell drill. They're in position. It's like a zone, just getting stops time in, time out.
Two players in double figures for Temple. They've been very good from behind the arc. Damian Dunn with 3 threes, Zach Hicks with 4. The Temple bench has been animated. It's been energetic. There seems to have been a belief, but we've seen that from teams early in games against Houston. As you look at the faces on the Owls bench during the game, there is certainly that belief now, and it is there in full.
So think about it. One of the things you get concerned with when you're playing Houston is how are we going to manage their pressure? How are we going to manage their intensity? How can we avoid it? Well, the reality is you get more confidence when you don't avoid it, you play at it. You go at their pressure, you attack their pressure, and now you play 4-on-3 and you get open 3 looks. It's a reason why Damian Dunn and Zach Hick have made a majority of their 3-point opportunities, because the majority of them have been good looks.
Houston is in deep trouble, down by 7. Plus, Sasser and Roberts with 4 fouls apiece.
Kelvin Sampson always says, right, it's number 1, but we're just renting it. It doesn't mean you want to give it up.
They are 71-5 in this building. Here's Dunn. Shed got onto him late, and Dunn left it short. Rebound to Mark. Houston can go, maybe. Mark pulls up, scores over Hicks.
I love that shot. Defense just retreating back on their heels, getting ready to guard the rim, and Mark just stops on a dime, pulls up.
Under 6 to play. Dunn looking for somewhere to go. Got the switch with Chaney again. The left arm extended for Chaney. Temple's leading scorer, Damian Dunn, off balance. Well played by Chaney, and here comes Shed with a burst. Thought there was a foul there against Dunn. Shed in some trouble. The outlet is Chaney of all people. Shed. Will it be Sasser's time? It has been the last 2 games. Chaney on the slip into Roberts. 3-point game.
This is the best offensive action I've seen most of the game for Houston.
Only the second shot attempt of the game by Roberts. It leads to Aaron McKie's 3rd timeout.
It's almost as if Houston got slowed down with the ball trapped there on the sideline, and it was the best possible thing that could have happened. Bring 2 up, dump down. Reggie Chaney, great play, avoiding the charge. It is so easy for bigs on that roll, because very few short roll. Short roll's often there with a trap, but very few short roll. They roll hard to the basket, and it often leads to a charge. But good presence of mind to just stop, go straight up, make the pass to Juwan Roberts.
You go through the rotation on this team. Reggie Chaney is probably one of the least athletic guys on a team where everybody is athletic.
I was going to say.
But there's a reason Kelvin Sampson calls on him in these moments. Starting center on a Final Four team 2 years ago. His minutes have gone down a little bit the last couple of years, but he is their reliable guy when they need stops and when they need plays.
Least athletic guy.
Oh, Shed nearly took it away off the inbound. And the pressure is starting to turn up now.
The thing is, he knows how to play, and he knows how to play the way Kelvin Sampson needs his teams to play, and that's why you see him in here in a late game situation, down a few.
Done holding against Shed. Directing traffic, which is very slow moving right now for Temple. Got a good look for Hicks. In and out. Mark crashes. The ball deflects to White.
That was a great set on the slip, knowing that they're trapping hard. I almost wonder if Houston has to switch things up late here, late game situation, switch things to the point where you just switch these ball screens because they've been getting beat.
We'll switch that one.
That's like to like.
Sasser against Dunn. In and out again. 2 threes that were halfway down.
I think with this lineup, you could switch everything if you really wanted to, if you're Houston.
Sasser doesn't use the screen from Cheney. Steps back and misses. And Hicks really with an uncontested defensive rebound.
And Hicks is the guy. If Hicks is setting the ball screen, you got to switch because he just slipped and got an open three. Jourdain, a little different when Jourdain's setting the ball screen. Possibly even different when White.
Didn't look like White was sure who he wanted the ball screen to be from there. 5 for Battle. Into Sasser. Hicks, not a clean catch. Missed it 2. Rebound one-handed for Roberts. 3:20 to play. Mark lost it. Cheney tipped it. Still up for grabs. Houston ball. The Temple Owls have not beaten the #1 team in 23 years. They are 3 minutes and 16 seconds away from doing that.
Down the home stretch, Temple sitting on a 3-point lead. It comes down to Houston making plays, making shots. Yes, it's going to come with a sense of urgency. The concern when you play with a sense of urgency is you take quick shots, you take bad shots, you rush. This is an experienced basketball team. It's an experienced group on the floor for Kelvin Sampson. Defense leads to offense. Kevin, I got to think it may come down to free throw shooting at some point, too.
If you're a Houston fan, that's a nightmare to hear because they're 10 of 20. Temple is 19 for 20. Owls have done so many things right. Can they close in the final 3:16? Can they deliver what would be one of the shock results in college basketball this season? A win over a #1 team in Houston.
Well, they've had some shock results, too, like losing to Wagner. Some crazy ones, but Temple's a good basketball team. They've had a great game plan, and they've executed well.
Just over 3 to play in a 3-point game. Veterans on the floor still for Houston. 5 to shoot for Sasser. Missed it from 3 and a rebound White.
And again, not enough movement offensively, so the defenders are in position to get rebounds. Nothing happened on the offensive end in terms of the offensive glass for Houston.
Just keep waiting for one of these possessions. Houston to finally get into some good action, and it's just not happening. Another long possession for Temple, which has not scored in about 4 minutes. Dunn. Cheney's on him. Dunn trying to draw to contact. No. And a chance for numbers if Mark hurries here. Dunn behind the play a little late. Got back into it in transition well, the Owls did.
But again, the defense is set, and they're all looking at the basketball.
Shed. It's another tough shot. He missed it. 2 Houston players went for the offensive rebound, and neither grabbed it.
But where's the offense? That's been the challenge all game. There's a reason why 52 points are on the board. It has been good defense from Temple, but it's been good ISO defense, just forcing tough shots.
9 assists in the game for Houston. Under 2 to play. #1 on the ropes at home. Battle a step in. Into traffic. Smothered. A block shot for Mark.
Damian Dunn has to touch the ball more often. Trust his decision-making.
There goes Sasser. His shot rejected by Jourdain. Houston wants a goaltend, and Roberts took it back. He stole it from Hicks. He can tie the game. J'Wan Roberts simply did not give up on the play.
It's almost as if there was some confusion there. A lot of people calling for a goaltend. Temple didn't take off. They were waiting, just kind of hanging on to the basketball. And J'Wan Roberts, what a heady play. And he can tie it up with a made free throw if that happens.
It hasn't much for Houston.
Sorry for my sarcasm.
And away we go. A 7-0 run over the last 4.5 minutes for Houston.
And Temple has gotten away from good movement, good action, that has gotten them good looks. And now they're just holding the basketball here down the stretch, and they've taken nothing but tough contested shots.
They're playing prevent offense. Dunn got into Roberts, and a foul called. Damian Dunn will shoot two, and Roberts has fouled out.
I'm shocked by that one. I'm usually good with a replay. Let's take a look. I'm sure we'll slow it down. Oh, that's just bad. Nothing there. Not the way this game's been played, right? I would say maybe earlier in the game you can call that foul, and you're going to call it on the shot. I just don't see it. I think Damian Dunn was hit more in the previous play than he was on that one.
Noisy free throws.
Dunn's going to shoot two. Roberts has to lead the game first. Reminder, the tennis's first major of the year rolls on down under tonight. A round of 16 Australian Open coverage continues 7 Eastern, 6 Central. ESPN Plus and ESPN2.
That's a tough one. J'Wan Roberts has the last, 5 points?
Yep.
For Houston, he's been great. That's a tough one to lose Roberts late. Now you come back with Walker. Walker might be a little more fresh, but hasn't been great in this game.
And here's Mr. Automatic at the line.
Say what?
Would you believe that?
Well, I would. You said it.
He was 6 for 6 in the game. He was 22 of 24 in the last 2 games before that miss.
A little offense-defense here where Hicks goes out, John Cooch comes in. I'm not sure if I like that because I like the versatility for Temple defensively. They've been able to do a lot of different things, switching. We'll see what this does for them on the other end.
Dunn for the lead. Got it. 56-55. 11-9 Temple leading #1 Houston.
What kind of movement can you create offensively that it hasn't been there for most of the game for Houston?
Chaney looking for the back cut. Sasser was cut off by Battle. Shed. Here's Chaney. Got John Cooch on him. Chaney in some trouble. Houston does have 2 timeouts, and Kelvin Sampson will implore his team to take one.
And this is where, if you, throughout the course of the game, get through different offensive action, at this point you can say, all right, based on who's on the floor for us and who we're going up against, this is what I like. Here's how we've been able to get open shots. Here's where a slip occurs. I can tell you right now, I have no idea what Houston could possibly do because they haven't done much all game. So I don't even know what action you get to. The hope is if you're Houston, the right guy makes a play and somebody else makes a shot. But Temple's been good. There's a reason why Houston only has 55 points. Part of it's on Houston. The other part's on Temple playing good D and getting rebounds on the defensive end.
Temple has not hit a field goal since the 7-18 mark.
And you and I just had the Memphis game where Temple comes back, hits a 3 to tie it, and then they lose at the buzzer. This would be interesting. That was what, last week?
That was Sunday.
What's today?
Sunday.
All right.
1 week later, hoping to avenge some of those late game demons and to slay the ultimate giant in college basketball at the moment.
I'd say, look, if Temple's done anything, They haven't won or lost this game yet, but if they've done anything, they've exposed a serious vulnerability in Houston, and they've told everybody in the country, and this, again, I talked about it coming in, I'm shocked to see how well they're executing the game plan of bringing two to the basketball and saying, come and get it, we're playing out of it. Now, they've only scored 56 points, but they've missed a lot of open shots too, so the open shots are there.
11 to shoot as Sasser inbounds. One timeout remaining for Houston. The freshman Walker. He will give it to Shed. A deep three. In and out. Rebound Temple and Jourdain. Do you foul? 7-second different shot game clock.
I think you might have to at this point.
Houston's going to play this out. Kelvin Sampson says do not foul.
Yeah, you don't want to foul Damian Dunn.
Jourdain would have been the guy if you were going to foul. Instead, it is Dunn. Trying to be the closer. 5 to shoot. Damian Dunn. A lot of contact. John Cooch throws it out. Now Houston must foul.
No, it's a shot clock. No. It has to be a shot clock.
Ball did not hit the rim.
Ball did not hit the rim. It has to be a shot clock violation.
This can be reviewed and certainly will by the officials.
How about your, usually it's, we talk home cooking when they don't reset the shot clock or they reset it too soon. This should have been reset. Let's see. I mean, well, they shouldn't have reset it there. So, I mean.
Yeah, shot clock just went off.
So, but at what point do you, I guess it's the second it goes off, that's where you have to award the basketball to Temple, likely on the baseline with, I don't know, 2 seconds? Are we good with that? Oh, man, that's tough because now what happens is because of that, you're now exposed to another situation where Houston could foul. Now, you don't want to foul at this point, but out of bounds underneath, you want to take things away. Could end up putting Temple at the free throw line where you played good defense. That's a tough situation. But here's the thing, what you do right now, you've got a free timeout right now. You do have an extra timeout. Houston has a timeout. You got a free one right now. You should be talking about how you're going to handle this situation. Again, likely 2 seconds, maybe 3 on the shot clock, out of bounds underneath. Temple basketball, so you should be talking about how you're going to defend this and then what you do. Obviously, you get a steal, you take off, get down and get yourself a basket, but we're all waiting to see what's going on. You want to know the situation so you can go approach your team and talk about what the situation is and how to handle it. But I think it's pretty evident. It's going to be Temple basketball on the baseline, 2 or 3 seconds left. You should be talking about how you're going to manage this late game situation. Clearly want to avoid fouling if you're Houston, and you obviously want to avoid giving up some sort of screen action, slip to the basket, easy layup. So now, pressure on the basketball, take passes away at the rim.
The officials are going to call Kelvin Sampson and Aaron McKee together.
Temple have possession.
We'll get the message from Steven Anderson.
Determined it was a shot clock violation. The game clock was 8.3. It's going to be Houston ball.
So it is going to be Houston ball because Steven Anderson determined shot clock violation. So Temple would have had possession as the shot clock expired.
It's a shot clock violation because they basically count off those seconds. Even though it didn't reset or just went away, they counted off those seconds and the ball was still in play. Temple still had it. Temple kicks it out. That is a shot clock violation.
They certainly got it right. And now Houston has one timeout, trailing by a point. A 20-point favorite, a 9-game win streak, a 71-5 record at the Fertitta Center.
And a Temple team that had their hearts broken in Philadelphia just a week ago against Memphis.
A buzzer-beating loss exactly 7 days ago. Kendrick Davis get a jumper at the horn. Here's Shed. Houston, #1 ranking on the line. Shed drives it. Shot blocked. Chaney shot blocked. Out of bounds. 1 second to go.
All right. I wouldn't be surprised if you take a timeout and then have them look at the time on the clock.
Kelvin Sampson's already signaling for his final timeout.
Yeah, and they're going to look at the clock. And maybe you don't have to take the timeout if they're going to look at it. So maybe hang on to that.
Houston was screaming for a goaltend as well.
Secondary defenders have been there. I mean, John Cooch is there. No, that's not goaltending at all. Yeah, so it should be about 1.2, 1.3 on the clock. Great defense. John Cooch, secondary defenders, like I said, they've been there. Not a lot of easy opportunities at the rim for Houston all day. And I think Cheney probably thought he had a game winner in his hand. And this is where you want to run guys like Sasser off for screens, and if you set a hard one, there's a good chance you can slip to the rim.
Boy, John,
can we go back to a week ago, this exact situation?
Sure.
With how much time left? And Kendrick Davis coming off the screen hits the shot to win the game.
2.1 in that game.
Very similar situation. But again, you don't want to play to the shot. You have to be cautious and considerate of the slip to the basket. Wow, what a situation.
What a game. Jamal Shead will inbound with Mark Walker, Cheney, and Sasser.
To me, it's Cheney and Walker who you have to look for. Slipping.
Shead lobs it into Mark. No! Temple has done it! Temple slays the Dragon. And #1 goes down in Houston. 56-55. A milestone victory for Temple, taking down the nation's top team for the first time in more than 2 decades.
Tremendous execution, out of bounds underneath. You got a great look. Tremont Mark curls tight, no one there at the rim. He just couldn't get it to go. And I said it, Temple didn't win this with all the shot making. They won it with a game plan. It was a game plan that welcomed pressure. They attacked out of that pressure, and Houston just didn't have an answer. Certainly didn't have the answer on the offensive end, and defensively, Temple was able to control this basketball game. Good for Temple.
They did not hit a field goal in the final 7 minutes and 18 seconds, but they defended for their lives. The Temple Owls, who began this season losing at home to Wagner, have just gone on the road and defeated #1 Houston. What a game. What an afternoon at the Fertitta Center.